Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Another shipwreck. Seems like a pretty big island. What happened to it? Oh right, I already know. Infected shipwrecked survivors were godforsaken. It's like a collection of a bunch of different shipwrecks. And still the red light flashes.
All night the Buoy has kept me lucid. I sat, when I was at the very edge of despair, when I thought I would never unlock the secret of the island, I sat at the edge, and I watched the idiot Buoy blink through the night. He's mute, and he is retarded, and he has no thought in his metal head but to blink each wave and each minute aside until the morning comes and renders him blind as well as deaf-mute. In many ways, we have much in common.
Oh, there's the buoy. And this is the end of this cliff. Well. Down I go. It would seem I'm using a depth-first search on this island. And I really don't want to investigate this shipwreck. Really don't. But I must follow my rule. What happened here? Was it just a storm? Or was something else involved? not too bad.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Hole in the bottom of the boat. Lit. Did he eat? Did he eat nor drink? I don't know what the first word is. This is clearly pointing me up the hill. Which I cannot climb. Well, I shall keep that in mind that it wants me to go up that hill as I continue my leftward trek. If I had to make a wild guess,
I had kidney stones, and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
if I had to make a wild guess, I'm headed for the red beacon. And if I had to make a wild guess, Esther is dead, killed by a drunk driver. And Esther is somehow related to this narrator. And I have a vague feeling I am the narrator. Wonderful. A maze of creepy stones, creepy abandoned hut.
I've begun my ascent on the windless slope of the western side. The setting sun was an inflamed eye squeezing shut against the light shone in by the doctors. My neck is aching through constantly craning my head up to track the light of the aerial. I must look downwards, follow the path under the island to a new beginning.
Follow the path under the island. Whatever that means. Left I go, left. Well, he explicitly said there that I'm heading towards the aerial. Well, at least this music's a little uplifting. Instead of something creepy. It's not happy. But it's not scary.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There's no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him, either.
An island of shepherds. Alright, makes sense. Making a bit more sense than before. Though I'm confused as to what a bothy is. Is this bothy? Nope, must continue left. Oh boy. I almost called it quits there. Pretty sure I'm not supposed to be going this way. So, for the first time, I'm gonna break my leftwards rule and go right. Chances are it's going to get me into a lot of trouble. Let's not fall down there. So now I'm going to start making a vague attempt towards the red beacon. Oh, it's a stable. I'm assuming this is where the sheep lived. We've got some sort of cairn, and now I can clearly see why the plants look so wonderful. They twist round and round to face you all the time. Clever. You don't notice if you don't look closely. Maybe I do need to go left. See, now I messed myself up. If I hadn't fallen down that cliff, I think I would have come along here. Let's see. I had been walking along this road, and I should have seen that it came to an end, and I should have backtracked. I should have followed the path up to what, it's not exactly a path, but I should have gone up to what I am assuming is the bothy.
When the oil lamps ran out, I didn't pick up a torch, but used the moonlight to read by. When I've pulled the last shreds of sense from it, I will throw Donnelly's book from the cliffs, and perhaps myself with it. Maybe it will wash back up through the caves and erupt from the spring when the rain comes, making its return to the hermit's cave. Perhaps it will be back on the table when I wake. I think I may have thrown it into the sea several times before.
So he's going crazy. He's got a bunch of enormous books. A Hebridean history. So in the Hebrides, it would seem. This is the hermit's hut. What are all those strange sounds? Why am I hearing those here? At least the bed is empty. That is somehow a reassurance. So I'm going to continue going left. And that should strictly take me down this path which I was following before. So maybe I do need to go all the way down. Why do I doubt it? Is this a path? Is this not a path? Can't tell.
What to make of Donnelly?
It's a path.
The laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast.
That was a heavy paragraph. So this guy Donnelly got hit by a drunk driver while wandering these paths? Car can't get here too easily. Unless these paths are some sort of metaphor. And his disease being the internal combustion engine and fermented yeasts, so he likes to drive and he likes to drink. So he is the drunk driver, which means the narrator is the drunk driver, which means I'm
They found Jakobsen
the
in
drunk
early
driver.
spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot, but he is proving an unreliable witness.
Caves, eh? Corpse in the cave. And there's a cave. Wonderful. So chances are I'm going to be stumbling onto a corpse. Just what I wanted. Well, as long as the corpse is fully dead, I'm okay with that. I guess. As long as it's not trying to claw my brain out or some such. Yet another shipwreck. Could this be the path under the island?
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
When this is done, I am looking up the word bothy. And now it seems that big tanker carter thing might be a trawler, whatever that is. And I must go left. What is that light? Is that sunlight? Is that firelight? Okay, this is weird. Why is there a candle burning? I thought this was a deserted island. Why is there a candle? And what is this? Looks like the mouth of a beast. Alright, stalactites, stalagmites, and a big hole. Which if I had to make a wild guess, I'm supposed to fall down.